Let's talk about something we all wish wasn't real, something we'd rather not believe exists until we're forced to confront it. Evil. Not the kind from horror movies, not the villains with dramatic theme music, but the kind that walks among us, the kind that hides behind charm, good intentions, and sometimes even love, the kind that smiles at you while silently plotting your downfall. There's a moment, a split second, when everything changes. It's the moment when an evil person realizes you see them for exactly who they are. It's subtle, but it's there. You might catch it in their eyes, a flicker of something sharp and calculating before they smooth their face into a mask of innocence. It's that heartbeat of silence before they decide how to respond. See, people like this operate in the shadows. They thrive on deception, on playing the long game, on making sure no one ever really questions them. They build their power through quiet manipulation, through gaslighting, through twisting truths, through making people believe there's something they're not. Their greatest weapon isn't their words, but their ability to control how others see them. But the second they realize you know that you're no longer fooled, no longer under their influence, that's when the real battle begins. The shift in their eyes. If you've ever been in this situation, you know what I'm talking about. That eerie, almost reptilian shift in their expression. It's like watching a snake uncoil or a predator realizing it's been spotted. There's a moment of calculation because now they have to switch tactics. They can't keep pretending if you're not buying it anymore. They assess the situation. How much do you know? How sure are you? Are you going to expose them? Do you have proof? This is the most dangerous moment because people like this don't just slink away when they're caught. No, they fight back, just not in the ways you might expect. The calm before the storm, at first they might do nothing at all. They might act as if nothing happened, as if you never confronted them, as if the truth you now hold in your hands is meaningless. This isn't because they aren't affected, it's because they are stalling. They are calculating their next move. Will denial work? Should they play the victim? Should they turn people against you before you can tell your side? Or should they find a way to make you doubt what you know? The silent panic, one of the most unsettling things about truly manipulative people, is that they don't often react with open panic. They don't shout, and they don't break down. Instead, they calculate. Their panic is silent, strategic. They might suddenly become too nice, trying to win you back over before you say too much. They might test you, throwing out little comments to see how you react, trying to gauge just how deep your realization goes. They might start subtly pushing boundaries, looking for weak spots, seeing if they can still manipulate you into silence. And if they can't, that's when they begin their next moves. That's when they start the gaslighting, the smearing, the victim playing. The turning point, the moment of exposure is terrifying, not just for them, but for you, because now you see them for what they are. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. This is the moment that will define the next chapter of your story. You have two choices. Shrink back, pretend you don't know what you know, let them regain control, or stand your ground no matter how much they try to make you doubt yourself. And let me tell you something, they are counting on you doing the first. Because the one thing they cannot handle, the one thing they fear more than anything else, someone who refuses to be fooled. If there's one thing truly manipulative people are masters of, it's gaslighting. It's their favorite weapon, their most polished skill, and the tool they reach for the moment they feel control slipping through their fingers. Gaslighting isn't just lying. It's a slow, methodical attack on your perception of reality. It's not about making you believe something false once. It's about making you question yourself over and over again until you don't trust your own thoughts anymore. It's a psychological erosion, a quiet rewiring of your instincts, And it's terrifyingly effective. And when an evil person knows that, this is one of the first things they will turn to. How gaslighting works, gaslighting doesn't come in the form of obvious, outrageous lies. It comes in whispers, in carefully crafted half-truths, in subtle manipulations that make you doubt your own experiences. It's a slow drip poison that doesn't seem deadly at first until you realize it is taking over your mind. It sounds like this. That's not what happened. You must be remembering it wrong. You're being dramatic. You always overreact to things. I never said that. I think you're confused. Everyone else sees it differently. Maybe you're the problem. And when they realize you're onto them, they ramp it up. The art of rewriting reality. One of the scariest things about gaslighting is that it makes you question your own ability to see the truth. When someone repeatedly tells you that what you experienced isn't real, it plants a seed of doubt. And if you've been dealing with this kind of manipulation for a long time, that seed has deep roots. At first, you might feel confident in what you saw, what you heard, what you know, but the more they challenge you, the more they insist that you are the one who is mistaken, the more disoriented you become. You start wondering, did I really misunderstand? Am I being too sensitive? Maybe they have a point. And that's exactly what they want. Because once you start questioning yourself, you're easier to control, turning the tables. When a manipulator knows their mask is slipping, they won't just deny the truth. They will try to make you the villain for even questioning them. They'll say things like, I can't believe you would accuse me of something like that. You're always looking for reasons to make me the bad guy. This is why no one takes you seriously. I've done nothing but care about you, and this is how you repay me. Suddenly, you're not the person uncovering the truth. You're the attacker, the irrational one, the cruel one. And if they can make you feel guilty, if they can make you feel ashamed for daring to hold them accountable, then they win. The isolation strategy evil people don't just gaslight you directly, they also manipulate how others see you. If they sense you're gaining too much clarity, they will work behind the scenes to isolate you. They might start telling others that you've been acting different, that you're overreacting, that you're not yourself lately. They plant doubts in other people's minds before you even get the chance to speak your truth. That way, by the time you do, the people around you are already primed to think you're unstable, irrational, or overly emotional. This is how they protect themselves, not just by manipulating you, but by making sure no one believes you. How to break free gaslighting works because it makes you question your own mind. The key to escaping it is grounding yourself in your truth and refusing to let anyone rewrite it for you. Write things down. When you start second-guessing yourself, having written proof of events, conversations, and feelings can help remind you what's real. Trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it is wrong. You don't need a logical explanation for why. It's enough to know that something doesn't sit right with you. Talk to people you trust. Manipulators want you isolated because they know that outside perspectives can shatter their illusion. Lean on the people who truly care about you. Set boundaries. You do not owe anyone endless explanations, justifications, or second chances. If someone repeatedly tries to twist your reality, you have the right to walk away. The hardest truth about gaslighting is so powerful because it preys on a very human fear. The fear of being wrong. It makes you doubt yourself, it makes you feel unstable, and it makes you crave reassurance from the very person who is harming you. But here's the truth. If you feel like you're being manipulated, you probably are. Your instincts are not lying to you. And the moment you reclaim your trust in yourself, the moment you refuse to let them rewrite your reality, is the moment they lose their grip on you. And that is something they cannot handle. When an evil person realizes that you see through them, that their deception is no longer working, they don't apologize. They don't take responsibility. They don't even try to make things right. Instead, they play the victim. This isn't an accident. This isn't just a moment of emotional weakness, it's a calculated move, one designed to shift the blame away from them and onto you. Because if they can convince the world, and maybe even you, that they are the one who has been wrong, they regain control. This tactic is one of the most frustrating and infuriating things they do, because suddenly the person who lied, manipulated, and hurt others is now getting sympathy. Suddenly you, the person who saw the truth and tried to hold them accountable, are being painted as the aggressor. It's not just a defense mechanism, it's an attack. And it's one of the most powerful weapons in their arsenal. The art of playing the victim. Playing the victim isn't just about claiming innocence. It's about creating a narrative in which they are suffering. They will distort reality, exaggerate events, or outright lie to make themselves seem wounded, misunderstood, and unfairly treated. They do this in different ways. One, the emotional meltdown when confronted, they may suddenly collapse into a state of deep sadness. The tears come, the voice shakes, they look at you with hurt eyes and say things like, "I can't believe you think I would do something like that. This is so unfair. I've always been there for you. I don't deserve this." They make you feel guilty for even bringing up the issue. Their sadness is not about genuine regret. It's a strategy to make you feel like the bad guy. And if you're a compassionate person, which they count on, you might start second guessing yourself. Maybe you were too harsh. Maybe you did overreact. Maybe they didn't mean it that way. That's exactly what they want. Two, rewriting history. If tears don't work, they shift the story. Now suddenly, they are the one who was hurt first. They are the one who has suffered because they are the one who has suffered because I only acted that way because you hurt me first. You don't know the full story. There's a reason I did what I did. I've been struggling with so much, and instead of supporting me, you're attacking me. They reframe everything to make it seem like they were only reacting to your wrongdoing. They take attention away from what they did and redirect it toward what you supposedly did to them. Even if they have to make things up, even if they have to twist the facts beyond recognition, they will do it because the more confused and defensive you become, the more power they have. Three, recruiting an army of supporters. Evil people don't just play the victim privately. They make sure to do it publicly too. They don't just want your sympathy, they want to turn others against you. They will go to mutual friends, family members, or colleagues and spin a heartbreaking story about how they were treated unfairly. And because they are so convincing, because they know exactly how to tell a story that tugs at people's emotions, they succeed. Before you know it, people are whispering, "Wow, I can't believe they would treat them like that. I never thought they were such a cruel person. Poor them, they didn't deserve this." And just like that, you're no longer seen as the person who exposed the truth. You're seen as the villain. This is one of the hardest parts of dealing with manipulative people, watching them win over people who don't see what you see, watching them play the role of the victim so convincingly that others rush to defend them while you are left feeling like the actual victim. Why this works so well, evil people understand something about human nature. People want to believe a victim. We are wired for empathy. We see someone crying, someone in distress, someone claiming they were wronged, and we instinctively want to help them. And they exploit that instinct. They know that most people won't dig deeper. Most people won't ask questions. Most people will just take things at face value. And that is exactly why playing the victim is such a powerful tool. They don't have to prove they're innocent. They just have to make themselves look more sympathetic than you. How to defend yourself against the victim act. So what do you do when you see this happening? How do you fight back when someone is twisting reality and making you look like the villain? One, Don't engage in emotional warfare. When they start crying, pleading, or trying to guilt trip you, do not play into it. Do not argue with them about their feelings. Do not let their emotional theatrics pull you back in. Instead, stay calm, stay logical, repeat the facts. This isn't about how you feel right now. This is about what you did. I understand you're upset, but that doesn't change what happened. I'm not responsible for how you feel about being called out. They want you to feel bad, to feel guilty, to waver. Don't give them that power. Stick to the truth. No matter how many lies they tell, the moment you start questioning yourself, they win. So hold on to the truth like an anchor. If you need to write things down, keep records. Make sure you have a clear picture of what actually happened, because they will try to make you forget. 3, don't let their flying monkeys get to you. There will be people who believe their sob story. There will be people who turn against you. It's frustrating, it's unfair, but you cannot waste your energy trying to convince everyone of the truth. Let your actions speak for themselves. The people who matter, the ones who truly know you, will see through the lies, and the ones who don't, they were never really on your side to begin with. 4, know when to walk away. Some people will never admit the truth. Some people will never take accountability. And the more you fight to expose them, the deeper they will dig into their victim act. So at some point you have to ask yourself, is this fight worth my peace? Because sometimes the best way to win is to walk away. The hardest part of all, there is nothing more infuriating than watching someone who has hurt others get sympathy instead of consequences. There is nothing more frustrating than seeing people rush to defend someone you know is lying. But here's what you have to remember. The truth doesn't need to be believed by everyone to still be the truth. Playing the victim might work for them in the short term. They might fool people for a while, but eventually patterns emerge. Eventually their lies catch up to them. Eventually they lose. And when they do, the one thing they will never be able to play the victim against is karma. When an evil person realizes that you see through them, when they know that you know, they don't just panic, they don't just gaslight, they don't just play the victim, they go on the attack. They don't just want to protect themselves from exposure, they want to destroy you. And the most effective way to do that, smearing your name. They understand that truth is fragile in the hands of perception, that the way people see you matters just as much, if not more, than who you actually are. And so instead of defending themselves with facts, they destroy you with whispers, with carefully planted doubts, with twisted narratives that make you look like the problem. This isn't just about discrediting you. This is about erasing your credibility so completely that even if you tell the truth, no one will believe you. How the smear campaign begins, the moment they realize you're not under their control anymore, they start planting seeds. They don't need to scream lies from the rooftops. No, they know that subtle destruction is far more effective. Here's how they do it. 1, they plant doubt in people's minds. They don't start with outright accusations. Instead, they lay the groundwork with suggestions, little comments designed to make others start questioning you. I don't know, they've been acting really different lately. I'm honestly kind of worried about them. Something seems off. I hate to say this, but I think they might be struggling mentally. At first, these statements seem harmless. They don't directly accuse you of anything, but that's the point. By the time people start seeing you differently, they won't even remember why. They'll just know that they have a feeling about you. That's how powerful suggestion is. They twist the narrative. Once they've planted the seed of doubt, they start reshaping the story. They take real events, real moments, real things you've said, and distort them just enough to make you look bad. You call them out for lying, suddenly you're obsessive and paranoid. You distance yourself from their toxicity, suddenly you're cruel. and abandoning them. You try to defend yourself, suddenly you're aggressive and unstable. The truth doesn't matter. What matters is who tells the story first. And they make sure they are the one controlling the narrative. 3, they play the role of the concerned victim. This is where they get others to sympathize with them by acting like they're deeply hurt by your actions. They don't say, look at this terrible person. Instead, they say, I didn't want to say anything, but I'm really struggling with how they've treated me. I've always supported them, but they turned on me. I don't know what I did to deserve this. They want people to pity them, because once people feel sorry for them, they stop asking questions. They automatically assume you must be the problem. 4, they gather an army of supporters. The scariest part, they don't do this alone. They recruit people, friends, family, coworkers, mutual connections to help spread their version of events. This is how they turn people against you without you even realizing it. They play on emotions. They manipulate your shared connections. They make people choose sides before you even know there's a battle happening. And once they have enough people in their corner, they don't even need to lie about you anymore, because now the people around you are doing the work for them. Why the smear campaign works? It works because people love a story. And the moment your name gets dragged into one, people stop seeing you. They start seeing the version of you that has been fed to them. It works because people don't like conflict. They don't want to be in the middle, so they take the easiest path. They believe the side that sounds the most convincing. It works because people crave certainty more than they crave truth. And a manipulator makes sure their version of events sounds more certain than yours ever could. And that's why this tactic is so dangerous. How to defend yourself against the smear campaign. So what do you do when you realize someone is out there twisting your name, turning people against you? How do you fight back when your own reputation is being used as a weapon against you? $1. Don't chase every lie. The biggest mistake people make when faced with a smear campaign is trying to correct every false story, trying to explain themselves to everyone. You will never keep up. By the time you correct one lie, they will have told 3 more. If you run around trying to fight every accusation, you will look desperate, and that's exactly what they want. Instead, focus on your truth. Stand firm in who you are. People who really know you won't need an explanation. 2, stay unshakable. They want to see you react emotionally. They want you to explode in frustration, to lash out, to defend yourself so aggressively that you confirm the negative image they've created of you. Don't give them that. Instead, move with quiet confidence. Don't let their smear campaign shake you, because that's what it's designed to do. Let your actions speak louder than their lies. 3, define your real allies. You'll quickly learn who your real friends are. The people who believe lies without question, they were never truly in your corner. The ones who come to you directly, who ask your side before jumping to conclusions, those are the ones worth keeping close. The truth is, smear campaigns don't just expose you, they expose the people around you too. 4, document everything. If this smear campaign is happening in a professional setting, in a legal dispute, or in any situation where it could impact your future, keep records, save messages, write down incidents, screenshot evidence, because if this escalates, having proof will be your greatest defense. 5, know when to walk away. The hardest truth to accept: some people will believe what they want to believe no matter what you do. Some people want to see you fail. Some people enjoy tearing others down. And at some point, you have to decide, is proving myself to these people worth my peace? Because sometimes the best way to win is to stop playing their game. The truth will outlast the lies. Smearing your name is their last desperate attempt to keep control. It's an act of war against your character, an attempt to rewrite reality itself. But here's what they don't understand. Lies require constant maintenance. Truth does not. A smear campaign may work in the short term. They may fool people for a while, but eventually the truth always finds its way to the surface. And when it does, they will be the one left with nothing.